Hello guys, I'd like to welcome you to Composite Acoustics. This is our main facility in Lafayette, Louisiana, where we make these incredible, innovative carbon fiber guitars. And you'll see the shop behind me. We'll take you on a little bit of a tour, and you get to see what goes into making these instruments, the amount of handwork that's required, the machinery and high-tech that goes into it. And you'll also get to meet some of the people that are responsible for the fine workmanship on our guitars. So come on in, we'll show you around, and hope you have some fun with it. This is the R&D area, and this is how every guitar starts its life cycle, as a massive plug. After we're done developing a CAD drawing, a three-dimensional computer graphic of the guitar design, we do some prototypes out of foam, and eventually send off this drawing to get this plug cut from a company in Illinois. They cut this from about a 500-pound chunk of aluminum, and we make our molds off of these plugs. In other words, we make molds for our guitars here in the shop from carbon fiber that we pull off these plugs. The reason why we make this from aluminum is it guarantees that the guitars will be consistent every time, because this is just not going to change ever. What we have here is equivalent to what most guitar companies have and call the wood room. In other words, this is most of our raw materials are stored on these rolls here, because carbon fiber and other carbon composite materials that go into our guitars begin as a cloth. Their life begins as a cloth. This is one type of carbon fiber. This happens to be spun in strands so that it's very strong in one direction but not so strong in other directions. This goes into certain parts of our bodies. This is a material, when it's laid between carbon and it's infused with resin, it becomes very strong, but it's very, very lightweight. So we use different types of material here, and what happens here is we roll that material out on this table, and this thing is called a fabric cutting machine. We have a computer program of all the different cuttings and different shapes that need to go into a guitar, and this table sucks down the material by vacuum, and then the cutting apparatus does his little ballet kung fu kind of thing on top of the table and cuts the whole table's worth of material in about 3 or 4 minutes. It's pretty phenomenal to see. Actually, it's really a fun process. So that's where we start making our shapes, and then we go over here and lay them into our molds. Hi, I'm Wood.
And I'm Carbon.
So Carbon, it looks like you're going to go somewhere.
Yeah, I'm going to go to California. I'm jumping on the plane in a little bit.
Jumping on a plane?
Sure.
Are you crazy?
Oh, I've made the trip 1,000 times. It's great.
But you know what those baggage guys do to you? They drop you and you...
Oh, no, it's great. I've made the trip 100 times. It's really nice.
Your top's going to crack and your neck's going to go out of whack?
I've never had that problem. It's really nice, man. You should try it.
Wow, what about the pressure changes?
Oh, tell you what, I got to get going. My plane's about to leave. Oh, hey, Wood, what's going on?
Well, the weather changed and my neck went out of whack, so I think I'm going to have to go and get it adjusted.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I never have that problem.
Well, I think the chiropractor will probably get it back in shape, but it's really a pain in the neck.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, listen, I have to get going. Good luck.
Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Gerd. How are you today?
I'm fine. So what are you girls doing here with these molds?
We're laying up a mold today, and it'll
So-
be ready for tomorrow morning.
So how does this work? You put all the different composite materials in the mold, and then what happens next?
After we place all our materials in our mold, we're going to pass resin through it. Once we get an airtight seal with our bagging.
So this green stuff just helps the resin go through, and the pink stuff is the vacuum bag, actually?
That's correct.
So why do you play all around that vacuum bag? What's the deal with that?
Well, we have to have an airtight seal to ensure that our resin doesn't have any air in it, any air leaks, and that way our guitars don't have any breakouts.
Okay. And so then what? Now you're grabbing these molds and the two of you lifting them onto these racks?
Yes, we place them on the carts, and that way they can continue having the airtight seal. And they go into the oven, and they're in the oven for 6 to 8 hours at all different kind of temperatures.
So they're kind of baking, like a baking a cake.
Right. Right.
Wow. And then when they come out, they're basically good to go?
They're good to go. We place it onto the router area.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Stacey. This is really great.
Great.
Very cool. All right. All right, we made it over here to the routing table. You see our basic blank soundboards being routed into shape. The routing table is a CNC controlled machine. It's a great piece of equipment. And what we're also doing here is we're using a wet system to route, because every time you cut into carbon fiber, you of course have some dusty airborne particles, and we don't want to, for our workers to inhale them. We don't want them to dirty up our whole beautiful wood floor work area here, so we use this wet system to keep everything under control. And voila, there we are with a perfectly nice, neat and clean soundboard. Then we go over here into the fretboard area. We use another CNC mill that we set up with a saw blade, with a diamond saw blade. It's very hard to cut into carbon fiber, so we use this diamond blade to cut with ultimate precision into our fretboard slotting. Then we do some hand crowning and sanding to get the texture of the fretboard just right. The fretboard is carbon fiber, but it feels like an ebony board once we're done with it. You see some of the inlays we're placing into our guitars, rosettes and headstock emblems. And then we also apply our fretboard markers here, little dots, shell dots or mother of pearl dots that get applied with a little bit of super glue. Our frets are done completely traditional, with the one exception that they're stainless steel frets throughout, so the guitar really never needs any servicing. The frets will last at least 10 years. And but they apply it with a little bit of glue and seat it with a fret press, like any luthier would do, so you can have them serviced by any normal service repair guy, like any other guitar.
Hi, my name's Arlene. I work in the assembly cell, and what I do is I finalize a guitar. I get all the parts from everybody. I put the frets to the face on my first station. I glue it. It sits for 20 minutes, all air compressed. I clean off the excess glue while it's sitting. When that is complete, I go to my second table where I have the fixture that holds my frets. The frets go on the back of the face of the guitar, and I put them all in sequence. Then I close the fixture and it's all air compressed. It sits for 20 minutes. When that's complete, I take the guitar face and the headstock, and I have a body in my body fixtures, which I've cleaned with acetone. I use epoxy glue to put the parts on these. The epoxy seems to work better, it holds better, and it keeps it from having pinholes. I put the headstock on, and I use my little pads, and I use my little clamps, and I clamp it. Then I put the headstock, the face, and the fret, which has to be sequenced with my pins and my nut slot. It is all air compressed. It sits in the fixture for 2 hours. At the end of the 2 hours, I take it out. I remove the tape that's around the body and the neck, and I put it in my overnight fixture, and it sits there till the next morning. When I come in the morning, I usually have anywhere from 4 to 8 guitars. Then I take them to my final station where I drill the tuner slots, I drill the strap slots, I bevel and round the whole entire head face of the guitar. I have to hand sand the headstock and bevel it out, clean the excess glue off of the neck. When that's done, I have a complete guitar that is ready to go to buffing.